Hi, this is Molly and welcome to my channel. We're going to take a look at the March 9th Virgo full moon, which will be exact on March 9th at 10:48 a.m. and that's Pacific Standard Time. So make sure and adjust for your location on the planet. Now, every full moon is when the moon is exactly opposite of the sun. So here we have the Virgo moon at 19 degrees of Virgo, 37 minutes, which means we round up to 20 degrees. So we have the moon at 20 degrees of Virgo opposing both the Sun and Neptune conjunct in Pisces. So this adds a lot of focal point energy to the Pisces experience, the Pisces energy of trusting, surrendering, not knowing what's exactly happening, but sensing it or feeling it. This is a very intuitive energy. It is emotionally tuned in to some higher realm messages. So keep in mind that this energy is very strong right now, and it's where we want to float away. And you could think of it as even a hot air balloon or something that wants to just take off and drift away onto the ocean. Well, what we have with this Virgo full moon is a grounding influence. The moon in Virgo is about the practical steps we take every day. Virgo is about our routines, our disciplines, our habits, what we need to tend to on a daily basis. This could be your lifestyle, nutrition, health, exercise, how you go to work, just how you experience your daily life. So the moon in Virgo brings us into this reality of what you need to be aware of and take responsibility for. And it's a grounding mechanism. So instead of that hot air balloon floating away, this brings in a way to take care of what needs to be taken care of. Virgo is a problem solver. How to is Virgo's domain. How to solve something, how to improve, how to make it better. So this Virgo full moon could give you some type of grounding about how to solve something that has been stuck or that you've been really uncertain about. Something that perhaps you don't understand what to do next, it hasn't been clear, and now the energy is shifting during this time period because not only does this Virgo full moon illuminate new solutions, practical solutions, things you can actually do, incremental, step by step, 1, 2, 3, get the duckies in a row. That's the strength of the moon in Virgo. But we also have Mercury at 28 degrees of Aquarius stationing direct. And so this is a turning point as well. Mercury is strong in Aquarius. Mercury can now think things through, see something new, a higher vantage point, and formulate better ways to communicate it. So this means that the solutions, ideas, things that you didn't know what to do, they were foggy and unclear, I feel like, again, this supports the understanding that something's going to come through. Now, this is also important because of how the moon in Virgo is ruled by Mercury, so that adds strength to this Mercury, and Virgo is also ruled by Chiron. Now, the upcoming Aries new moon on March 24th is conjunct Chiron. So we have strong healing energies happening throughout March. We're healing something within our soul's experience that perhaps has been rather big, rather monumental, something that, again, you could feel overwhelmed by it, uncertain, you don't know what to do. Pisces is the energy of spiritual growth. So we've really been pushed into growing spiritually. But the Virgo full moon brings us back to this reality, to today, to what you can do today, and asks you to take practical steps. And there's support for thinking clearly now. Now, the other energy that's quite strong during the Virgo full moon here is that you'll see over here in Capricorn, we have these 4 planets in Capricorn, Mars, Jupiter, Pluto, Saturn. Well, throughout the month of March, Jupiter and Pluto are nearing a conjunction that's going to take effect the last week of March into April. And this is a growing influence of a very deep transformation that we are experiencing throughout 2020. But notice how these 2 planets are trining this moon. giving support to what you need to do now, giving strength, giving the ability to transform. That's Pluto, the power, and Jupiter makes it easier. Jupiter says, okay, yes, we can do this. Here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan. Here's the strategy. So there is support for what you need to take care of at this time to sort of maybe even, I'm going to say, turn the ship around or take a new direction or follow a new path or do something that during this Mercury retrograde season could have felt troubling. It could have bring up the lower consciousness energies of Pisces, could have brought up some parts of yourself that you didn't see, you weren't aware of. And now there is a changing of the guard where you're able to make some practical decisions that feel powerful, that feel certain, and that help move you through the remainder of this Pisces season. Now, the sun travels 1 degree a day. So the sun's going to move ahead, and right after this Virgo full moon is going to make an exact sextile to Jupiter in Capricorn at 21 degrees, and then make another exact sextile to Pluto at 24 degrees of Capricorn. So this is going to happen over the next 5 days after the full moon. And this is where the sun, which is the light, the warmth, the strength, receives a charge of support. So there's turning points here around where you've been mentally stuck, bringing you back to what you can do that's within your own domain, and how to take responsibility for what you can control, for what you can do today in your own way that's best for your mental health, emotional health, yes, and of course, anything that you've been moving through in 2020 that's maybe been big or hard or challenging. I feel like this Virgo full moon gives us some problem-solving ability that we can see something clearly now. We can see it more clearly, but it's going to keep changing. There's big transformation happening the end of March. For those of you who are aware, I now do these monthly astrology webinars, and I talk about this energy more, and you can find details below this video about that. But throughout March, we're increasing a really big soul consciousness transformation. I mean, this is big with Jupiter conjunct Pluto that only happens once every 12 years, but it's happening 3 times throughout this year. So we're undergoing a process that begins in March and moves through October, November. And I feel like we come back to our bodies for reassurance, grounding, and support. Now, on that note, I do want to bring in the reality of the coronavirus and how this is showing up in the astrology, as well as how this is a powerful full moon for transforming the consciousness of how this energy is working with us, both individually and collectively. Now, it's quite fascinating to note how Pisces is the energy of what we can't see. Pisces is the energy of illness or sickness, infection, bacteria, viruses, what we can't see that affects us energetically, and how it wears us out. We need more sleep, we need self-care, we need to take a break from work, right? When you're sick, when you're run down, when you're just simply, tired. But in this context of the coronavirus, this is showing us a bigger spiritual lesson around humanity's power to work with energy and to remain in higher states of consciousness without letting the fear come in, without letting that Pisces fear or Pisces victim energy dominate. So how are you remaining in your energetic power during this time? And then when you look at how Pisces is what we can't see, but it affects us, it's around us, it's literally what's in the air and what is working with us. Well, then we have the earth sign of Virgo that is about the body and how the energies work with the body, run down the body, the importance of nutrition, herbs, supplements, health. All these are the Virgo domains of healing. And so Virgo supports the healing of the physical body. And I feel like at this full moon, there could be a new awareness around how to care for yourself during these bigger collective energies of fear. What you can do, how you can remain mentally strong, how you can be certain of what you're able to take control of and be aware of. In a chart, like when you're looking at the chart of, say, a country or a collective population, the moon represents the public. So this is about the public taking the practical steps necessary for health, to keep it simple, to do what you need to do, to wash your hands and wipe things down. And if you need to rest, take a rest day. This is the very real domain of the earth signs. But this moon is again receiving support from Pluto and Jupiter that's saying you can handle this, you can do this, you can control this, and you can be aware of what's happening at deeper levels of energy. So I do hope, of course, that during this week, the March 9th and the week of March 9th, that there are some perhaps positive turning points in this pandemic and in this energy, that we rise in consciousness around our own power with it, that there can be some new solutions, some new understandings, and perhaps something comes through at a practical level that affects the trajectory or the outcomes of how this is unfolding. So this full moon is about health and healing. It is about looking at what you need to do for your own well-being. And it also brings you into this reality because, again, the Sun conjunct Neptune, this only happens once a year. And it's where there can be a desire to take a break, to not deal with reality, to disappear. I mean, this is quarantine, kind of like that energy of I'm just going to stick to myself and disappear from the real world. But with the Pluto and Jupiter energy here, there is something transformative and supportive in play. So trust this. Trust that there is something happening that can guide us in our daily necessary steps. Now, another thing to note is how during this full moon, Venus was just experiencing a conjunction to Uranus, and they met up at 4 degrees of Taurus. The energy is still strong here within this full moon, since they're only a degree apart. But this is something where we are shaking off, it's like an electrical zap of what we believed we were worthy of. And this can affect money, relationships, love, how you take care of yourself, how you show up for yourself, your ability to receive. It feels like this is something that we are ready to acknowledge in ourselves of where we've limited something. And Uranus is the cosmic energy of freedom. You're free. You've been released from something that again was stuck. So you see how we have some multiple energies here signaling a turning point, a shift, and the ability to move ahead, perhaps feeling stronger and clearer, more powerful, and the ability to work with what is. Because that is also a Virgo trait of this is what it is. So can you accept what is? Accepting the current reality, accepting the current state of affairs, accepting what is happening. And when you are in that place of acceptance, then you can figure out the next steps. What is a plausible solution? What makes sense? What is the right way to proceed now that I'm understanding what is? So use this to your advantage and understand how this is a turning point that hasn't, I would say it's the first time since even February that there has been a shift. When there are multiple shifts in a chart, we feel it. And that could be, again, something that you're really ready for and you're welcoming. And if so, I do hope that it helps you remain clear about what is a priority now and where you're ready to go next. So I forgot to mention that with every full moon, you always identify where the moon is in your natal chart. So you would look for 20 degrees of Virgo and look at the house. And that house is what's being illuminated for you, what is being lit up, what is shining, and what is showing you something that you didn't see before. I also feel like something to keep in mind with this Pisces Virgo axis is that there is always a solution. There's always a solution, and Virgo will find it. So if you have felt any of that hopelessness or discouragement or disappointment, the Virgo full moon will help you find a solution, help you find something that you didn't see before, and again, help you accept what is so that you can take the practical next steps to move forward. So I hope this is giving you some really good things to consider as we move through March. And do keep in mind that the March 2020 Soul Growth Astrology webinar has even more information about the transits of this month so that you can move through it powerfully and you can be aware of what's coming alive in your chart. You can be aware of the transits and what you are being really pushed to own and acknowledge in your world. So you can find out more about that below this video. And if you use the coupon code Pisces, you get a full webinar for $11. So friends, thank you so much for joining me. Please be sure and check out my weekly podcasts if you haven't already. Otherwise, I'll see you back here as we take a look at the upcoming Aries new moon on March 24th. Thank you so much.